row echelon form and reduced row echelon form get used often enough that it's important to be able to recognize them. And so row echelon form, we talked about this in our definitions, but row echelon form says that in each row, for each non-zero row, zero rows are okay, for each non-zero row, the leading entry must be a 1, and each leading one, must have zeros in the columns below it. The reduced row echelon has that as well. Reduced row echelon has the same thing with the added must have zeros above it. So we're going to provide some examples. So here is our row echelon form. This is how we can recognize row echelon form. Notice that in this case we have a leading 1 and zeros below it, a leading 1 and zeros below it, and a leading 1. So this is in row echelon form. We don't care what these guys are. As long as we have 1s in each of the leading spots, then we're fine. This is also in row echelon form because, again, a leading 1 with zeros below it, a leading 1 with a 0 below it, and a leading 1. This extra column, since there's not another row for it, is totally fine to be whatever it needs to be. We can also skip a column, because notice that we have a leading 1 and then numbers behind it and zeros below it. Then this column only has zeros below this because it doesn't have a leading 1 entry in this column. But our leading 1 in the third column has zeros below it, and a leading 1 in the third row, fourth column, has a 0 below it, but then all of the rest of the upper part of this matrix can be whatever it needs to be. That's row echelon form. Notice the similarities with this one, but also notice the differences. Here, we're allowed to have a column of all zeros, but each leading 1 needs to have zeros below it and above it. There's no above here, but this one has zeros above and below, and this one has zeros just above. This is in reduced row echelon form. And this one is also in reduced row echelon form, zeros above and below the 1s, and a column full of whatever it wants to contain because it has no leading 1s. So any leading 1 column has to have zeros above and below it. Now notice this one. This is interesting because we only have one non-zero value here, but everything below it is a 0, and that's because there's no leading 1 in this column. So no leading 1, once I get past that point, has to have zeros below it. So you have to get rid of all of these in order for it to be in reduced row echelon form. But this is what we mean when we're talking about row echelon form and reduced row echelon form.